And Rome is introducing new charges for tourists to visit 6 popular monuments and museums that were previously free. Non-residents will have to pay €2 to visit the sites, which include the Trevi Fountain.
A collapse in the price of precious metals has spilled into Asian markets. The price of gold tumbled as much as 9%. Silver has seen even greater percentage falls.
President Trump says he's agreed to lower tariffs on Indian goods as part of a long-awaited trade deal. In return, he says Delhi will stop buying Russian oil. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi described the agreement as wonderful, but made no mention of Russian oil.
India's Trade Minister says his country will be diversifying its energy sources amid changing global circumstances. It follows the announcement of a trade deal by President Trump, who said India would halt its purchase of Russian oil, although there's been no confirmation from Delhi.
The head of the world's largest computer chip maker, Taiwan's TSMC, has announced plans to make AI semiconductors in southern Japan. TSMC dominates that market, and it's been expanding production.
A South Korean cryptocurrency exchange has apologised for accidentally handing out more than $40 billion worth of Bitcoin. The platform, BitHum, said it managed to recover virtually all the missing currency.
Stocks in Japan have risen to record levels after the Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi won a landslide election victory. Her Liberal Democratic Party won more than 2/3 of the seats in the lower parliament.
Investigators have raided South Korea's spy agency as part of an inquiry into how a drone was shot down over North Korea. South Korea's president has likened the drone flight to firing a shot across the border.
A lawyer at a landmark trial in the United States has accused the tech giants Meta and Google of engineering addiction in children's brains. Mark Lanier is representing a woman who says she suffered severe mental harm by becoming addicted to social media as a child. Meta's lawyer said the claimant's struggles stemmed from other factors.
The Republican-controlled US House of Representatives has backed a resolution in favour of ending tariffs on Canadian goods. But even if the measure passes in the Senate, it's expected to be vetoed by the President.
It's day 9 of the Winter Olympics in Italy. There are 9 finals, including the men's dual moguls in freestyle skiing, which makes its Olympic debut.
The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has presided over a completion ceremony of a newly built street of flats for the bereaved families of troops who died in military operations abroad. North Korea has sent some 14,000 soldiers to fight alongside Russia in the war against Ukraine.
American and Iranian negotiators are holding a second round of indirect talks in Geneva on Tehran's nuclear program. Iranian officials say they're ready to compromise as long as Washington lifts sanctions crippling Iran's economy.
Japan's parliament has reappointed Sanai Takaichi as Prime Minister after her landslide election victory earlier this month. She'll now form her new cabinet.
The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has suggested that he's open to a social media ban for children as other countries pursue similar plans. He said children needed time to learn and play.
And the lower house of Argentina's parliament has passed controversial labour reforms proposed by the right-wing President Javier Milei. The proposals, which now go to the Senate, will permit 12-hour working days and make it easier to hire and fire staff.
The European Parliament is set to freeze a trade deal agreed last year with the United States after the US Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs as illegal. EU lawmakers say they want more clarity.
President Trump's new flat tariff rate of 15% on all global trade with the United States has come into effect. He announced the rate following Friday's decision by the US Supreme Court, which struck down other tariffs he'd imposed as illegal.
South Korea has recorded the biggest annual rise in its birth rate for 15 years. Official figures show just over 250,000 babies were born in 2025, an increase of nearly 7%. But the country remains the only OECD country with a fertility rate below that needed to maintain its current population.
Japan's tallest tower, the Skytree in Tokyo, has reopened after a lift malfunction trapped a group of visitors. The popular tourist attraction had been closed since Sunday when a lift carrying 20 people stopped working.
시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다.